area, so it's the area of international relations. And then I will present a short student testimonial about studying in Gießen, and then the application formalities. And of course, one major part will also include your questions about applying and about studying at Justus Liebig University. But before we start to present the university, I would like to know where you are joining from. And before you put your answers in the chat, give me 1 minute to activate the poll on this. So you can now hopefully poll where you are joining us from. Okay, I see that 4 people have participated in the survey. I assume that most of you are maybe joining from Ukraine. Fun fact is that although I work and live in Germany, I'm currently in Łódź, Poland, so in your neighboring country, where I'm participating in a staff week on international admission. So I'm closer than usually. Maybe some of you are also participating from Germany because you are Ukrainian citizens, but already residing in Germany. So that would be interesting to know. So 7 out of 18 people have participated in the poll. Let's wait a few more seconds. Okay, a few more. Okay. Good, so I will click end poll and share results. Can you see the results of the countries? Because I cannot. Okay, someone wrote something in Ukrainian. I don't speak Ukrainian, nor can I read Cyrillic letters, but Yeah, I can't see the countries either. This had unfortunately already happened last time in February. I think that's probably an issue with the platform that we are using. Okay, so Paulina is joining from Frankfurt. Hi, Paulina. So you are very, very close to Gießen, and I'm particularly glad that you joined this presentation. I really appreciate it. So maybe since this didn't work, unfortunately, you can put your answers into the chat if you are from Ukraine or from elsewhere joining us today. Okay, so most of you are joining from Ukraine. I'd already assumed that from Ukraine. Now Germany, Boppard. Okay, so Boppard, I know Boppard also. Xenia, nice to meet you. Good. So some of you are already close to Gießen. So going to the next slide, our claim is New Path since 1607. And from that, you can already see that Justus Liebig University Gießen was founded over 400 years ago. And we are a comprehensive university. That means that we cover the traditional range of subjects. This includes law, it includes medicine, it includes the humanities and also the natural sciences, as well as business and economics, for example. We are a university that is known for its history, but also for its innovation and for conducting research that caters to the needs of society. Maybe you know our namesake, who was a famous chemist, Justus Liebig, who invented fertilizer, for example. Also, several other areas of research that were relevant to society. We have 25,000 students, of whom 14% are international students. These are 3,600 students currently. And according to the Times Higher Education ranking, we are number 25 in Germany and among the top 400 worldwide. We have 11 faculties and a very broad range of subjects. And Gießen is, as I already said, close to Frankfurt. It's a typical university city with 3 higher education institutions and 94,000 inhabitants. This means that it's walkable. It's really never that difficult to get to from A to B because everything is close. It's the youngest city in the federal state of Hesse. So maybe you know that Germany has 16 federal states, and by statistics, we are the youngest city in this federal state. JLU students, for example, can use free public transport in Germany, in all of Germany. It used to be only in Hesse, but now it's in all of Germany. And there are many options for leisure and student life, for example, parks. Also, nature is very nearby. There are cinemas, restaurants, cafes, student initiatives. You can get everywhere very easily. We have a train station that is connected to the fast train network and also to regional trains. And our campus is also located throughout the whole city. So here you can see the different campus areas of Justus Liebig University. We have a natural and life science campus, which is in the northwest of the city, I would say. No, really in southern part, but to the northern side upon the hill. And we have the Cultural Studies and Humanities campus and the town center, which includes the university administration, also the international office, and also botanical garden. Then we also have a sports campus, as you can see on the top right, with a big sports facility. The campus for law and economics counts within the campus for cultural studies and humanities. And then we also have medicine and veterinary medicine. And to each of these campus areas, you can get either by bike or by bus, and they are not far away. By bike, it's sometimes only 5 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes, and by bus, I would say it's the same. So that makes the campus really be your city. So your city is the campus. And we also have some offsite facilities from medical research, such as the Kerkhoff campus and the Faculty of Medicine in Bad Nauheim, which is a small city close to Gießen, where you can easily get by train. And we have also further locations in Groß-Gerau, Rauschholzhausen, and Villmar for our agricultural education and research facilities. So students who study agriculture, for example, they conduct field studies in these areas that are very rural and close to nature. So speaking of our degree program offer, I'm introducing our faculties now. On the left side, you can see the area of humanities. These include law, then the Faculty for Economics and Business Studies, the Faculty for Social Sciences and Cultural Studies. These include, for example, sociology, political science, and then Faculty for History and Cultural Studies includes theology, classical languages, for example, such as Greek and Latin. And Faculty 05, Language, Literature, and Culture, are the modern foreign languages. For example, Spanish, French, English, but also Slavic studies. Faculty 6 is then Psychology and Sports Science. So you can see that psychology and sports science are already a bit more scientific, let's say, while the other ones are more in the intellectual areas, let's say, more humanities related. And then on the right corner, on the lower side of this slide, you can see our natural sciences faculties. So mathematics and computer science, physics and geography. Then Faculty 8 is biology and chemistry. You can see it's building, the new chemistry building, right there with the green trees. That's where our laboratories are as well. And Faculty 9 is agricultural sciences, nutritional sciences, and environmental management. And faculties 10 and 11 are veterinary medicine and medicine, including dentistry. So to summarize this, you can study over 100 different programs at Justus Liebig University, ranging from bachelor's to master level. Our bachelor courses are all in German, while our master courses, there are more than 70, are partly in English. We have about 14 degree programs in English. But more on that later. You probably ask yourself, why is Justus Liebig University presenting at this fair, and how is it involved in cooperation with Ukraine? So Eastern Europe is a strategic region for our university. In general, we have over 100 partnerships, cooperations, and exchange agreements worldwide, and additionally 250 Erasmus Plus agreements. We have 4 JLU information points in strategic partner universities in Australia, Colombia, Poland, and in Ukraine. And in Ukraine, we maintain this with National University of Kiev Mohyla Academy, NAUKMA. And these information points are basically connection offices that foster joint efforts in research and teaching and maintaining a connection to this university jointly. So our support for Ukrainian students is very important to us. We had also several programs of scholarships in the past, and also continue to apply for support structures and funding for Ukrainian students in particular. And in the winter semester last year, we had about 180 Ukrainian students at JLU. And given the total number of 3,600 international students, that's already quite a large group. And they also have an established community here in Gießen. So again, on the study opportunities that I mentioned before, there are several opportunities for you, depending on what you would like to study. If you would like to study a bachelor program at JLU, but you don't know German yet, you can attend German intensive courses in preparation of academic study. These courses allow you to reach German advanced level within 1 year, and they cost per course between 600 to 800 euros, and you can find more information on the website or also in the Q&A later. Degree seeking studies, as I mentioned, German taught bachelor programs and German and English taught master programs, as well as doctoral studies. We have 4 graduate centers at our university, and we also have some structured PhD programs, as well as individual PhD opportunities, which are the most of them. If you are a student at one of our Ukrainian partner universities, you can also come for a student exchange for 1 or 2 semesters, or you can participate in a virtual exchange through the virtual international program, so then you could study an exchange from home without coming to Gießen physically. We also offer international spring and summer courses to learn German. These take place every year in March and April, and in August and September. And also some faculties offer summer and winter schools. So going back to our offer, we offer everything from the classical humanities to social sciences, including law and economics, psychology, sports sciences, natural and life sciences, in particular human medicine and veterinary medicine, and agricultural and environmental and nutritional sciences, and food chemistry, which is very seldom in Germany. So these translate into 37 bachelor programs, 60, I think now it's over 70 master programs, and 3 programs leading to state examination degrees. That's a very technical term that you might not have heard of yet. So in Germany, there are different types of degrees, and being a lawyer or a doctor or a dentist or a vet is basically a title that is given to you by the German state. So that's a state examination degree. It's an integrated track that is not divided into bachelor and master. So it takes several years, and after that you are basically authorized by the state to carry that title. We have numerous combined interdisciplinary and international programs. So interdisciplinarity is something that is particularly important on master level, meaning that if you have studied something in your bachelor's and you would like to specialize later on postgraduate level, there are multiple opportunities for you to apply, and I will get to that on the next slide. The state examination degrees that I mentioned, also apply to teaching degree programs. So we offer teaching degree programs for all school levels and types. So in Germany, there is primary school, secondary school, also special education, for example, and vocational school. And if you would like to be a teacher in Germany, you can study to become a teacher at our university. However, all bachelor programs and state examination courses require advanced level of German C1. If you would not like to study in German, but rather in English, please have a look at this slide with our international master programs. So via this QR code, you can find an overview of our English taught programs at JLU, and they include a very wide range of disciplines, starting from Anglophone studies, which are studies about English culture, literature, and language in the English-speaking world, to the new program in agrobioinformatics, which is about using computer science methods in agriculture, to agrobiotechnology. Then we have an artistic program, choreography and performance, that is related to theater and drama studies, but also dance. Then we have economics of global risk, which is about a quantitative approach to risk factors that stabilize or destabilize global economies, which could also be interesting for you. And we have global change, ecosystem science and policy, which is a joint degree with the University College Dublin in Ireland. This one is the only one that we charge a study fee for. And the other ones are free of any tuition fees for international students and for German students, because we are a public university. If you are interested in sports rehabilitation and physiotherapy, then you could have a look into the program Human Movement Analytics, Biomechanics, Motor Control and Learning, which is very application-oriented and also has very, very good job prospects in Germany. And we also have insect biotechnology and bioresources. Then we have the Master in Eastern European Studies. We also have a program called Mind, Brain and Behavior, which is about perceptual psychology and brain processes of perception, basically. So neuroscience. We have a program called Sustainable Chemistry, Sustainable Transition, which is a digital master program, and Transition Management. And the last two are a bit about sustainability, management of sustainability, development, sustainable development, but also policy design for transitioning countries. So law and economics is the last one, while the penultimate, I would say, is a bit more science-oriented. So on this slide, you can find some information about international student life at JLU. So already in 2011, we received an award for excellent international student support at German universities by the Federal Foreign Office of Germany. And this also included the founding of our International Student Meeting Center, Lokal International. It has a monthly program that is free of charge for our students, and parties and intercultural events take place there, quiz nights and get-togethers and exhibitions and information events. They also have a karaoke, they have table football, for example, and this is a nice place for you to get to know people, get to know other international students. We also have for students a Center for Competence Development, where you can learn foreign languages for free, but you can also take courses on IT competence, for example, or also on job preparation, on job skills. We also have a sports facility campus that I showed you before. So we have a sports program of more than 80 courses per semester for students. We have a student orchestra and several student clubs and associations that would be countless to be listed here. As I said, you can use public transport for free if you study in Gießen. You have the Deutschland ticket, the Germany ticket, maybe you've heard of it, that allows you to use buses, trams, and trains, not only in Hesse, but in all of Germany. And some nearby cities that you can explore are Marburg, Wetzlar, Frankfurt, or Wiesbaden. And you can, of course, also explain the green surroundings of Gießen. Okay, I would like to use the meantime before we delve into the Master in Eastern European Studies to answer the questions that you have already put into the chat. So Sophia has asked about 10 minutes ago whether there is a difference in training and practical experience in medical and veterinary specialties for international students. Yes, there definitely is. So the studies in medicine and veterinary medicine at JLU are scientific based. So a lot of it will require studying a lot for exams. And let me say that probably also in Ukraine, these disciplines are considered very demanding, very challenging as a subject to study. But I know that in veterinary medicine, you also have internships and you also have the opportunity to work with animals on site. In Gießen, we also have a very important specialization in birds. So bird medicine is a specialization that is very seldom. There are only 5 universities in Germany where you can study veterinary medicine. We are one of them. And then in medicine, at the end of your studies, you have a practical year. So you will work, before you become a doctor, you work for 1 year in a hospital. So of course, practical experience is always important and is part of the studies, definitely. But I would say that the scientific or basically the hard facts that you need to study definitely dominate in these programs. So then there's a question about the preparation courses, the German intensive preparation courses, and how they are connected for the Studienkolleg, or are they only for masters? Good question. Thank you very much for that question. So the German intensive courses in preparation for academic studies are usually for people who already have a recognized university entrance certificate. So you can check in the ANABIN database whether your university degree from previous studies or your high school diploma would be recognized to enter studies at our university. And if that is the case, you can already apply for the German intensive courses in preparation of academic studies. And then with your German certificate for C1 German, you can apply for the degree program. If you are not allowed to enter our university with your high school diploma or your previous studies diploma, then you need to attend the Studienkolleg. But for the Studienkolleg, you already need intermediate German level B2. Yeah. So they are not related. We don't have our own Studienkolleg at Justus Liebig University. If you plan to study at our university at JLU, you need to attend the Studienkolleg Mittelhessen. The Studienkolleg Mittelhessen is located at the University of Marburg. So here on the slide, you can see that Marburg is a nearby city. It's only 20 minutes away by train. And you could attend that Studienkolleg and then graduate that Studienkolleg with recognized German, with a recognized university entrance certificate and also the necessary German level of C1. And I recommend the Studienkolleg because it prepares you for the German university system. So I hope this answers your question. Okay, thank you. Then there is a question by Anastasia. Where can I find the contacts of the faculty so that I know exactly where to write the letter so that it goes right into the department? So you can find the contacts of the faculties on the website of the respective program that you are interested in. So I can, if you like, I can give you the link so that you will see the overview of our complete courses of study. And then you will have to check for the respective program that you're interested in. 1 second. So it would be this side. Yeah. But it really depends what you want to ask them. Because if you are looking for general information on how to apply, on how to finance your study, on how to find accommodation, for example, you can contact the international office, and I will give the contact information at the end of this presentation. So for the departments, I know that for the international programs, there are usually contacts, and they also know that international applicants will write them. And then for the other programs, you would have to address them right away. And if it's a question that could apply to both the international office and the faculty, I would advise you to just put us in copy so that we can eventually also react to your email. Okay. So then there's a question about physics, whether it's taught in German or in English. Physics is taught in German, both at bachelor and master level, but there is also the master in human movement analytics that definitely includes components from physics. So if you would like to study a bachelor, then it's only in German. But if you'd like to study a master related to physics, you can either choose the one in physics that is in English, or you can choose the one in human movement analytics. Very interesting subject. I just went to the laboratory last week for a project with students and saw how they work together. And it's a very nice group, very international as well. Okay, someone is also typing, and I think, Okay, so that would be 4 questions addressed. Let's wait for the person who is typing, and then I will introduce the Master in Eastern European Studies. Oh, and meanwhile, maybe if you're interested in physics, we also have a degree program both at bachelor's and master level that is called Physics and Technology for Space Travel Applications. So that's actually rocket science, and it's in collaboration with the Technical University of Applied Sciences of Gießen of Mittelhessen, THM. It's in German, but it's also very, very popular. So you could also have a look into that one. Then there is a question, is the veterinary medicine program open to international applicants? Yes, it is open to international applicants, definitely. But there is a quota for international students to apply to veterinary medicine. If you give me 1 second, I will look for the information specifically and then link it for you. Yeah, so the program in veterinary medicine is categorized in Germany through admission restriction. Since it's a very popular program, not all students get accepted, and you generally need to present very good marks of your high school formation to enter. And you need to follow a process via the Foundation for university admission, basically. You can find the information on this site. So it's the Center for the Allocation of University Places, and we'll have to apply through there. Yeah. So it might be that you also get allocated to a different university if you really want to study veterinary medicine. So if you want to study veterinary medicine, it could be one of 5 universities in Germany, JLU being among them. Okay, then there's another question. Oh, many questions coming in. I would kindly ask you to maybe not write any new questions now. I will respond to the questions that have already been written now. And I will present the program in Eastern European Studies, and then at the very end, we can get back to your questions again. Okay, so admission requirements for non-EU students, particularly from Ukraine. There are no specific admission requirements for students from Ukraine. So students from Ukraine fall under the same admission requirements as any other international applicant. And the requirements depend on the program. So I recommend you to check the program that you are interested in and then click on application, because there it says what the admission requirements are. But if you want to study at JLU and you have a non-German high school diploma or university entrance certificate, such as a bachelor's degree, you will have to apply via UniAssist. So the German students, they apply via our application portal, while the international applicants, they use UniAssist. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Then there's another question. Can summer courses or preliminary courses replace the Studienkolleg? We would like to join the university after 11 years of school, study in Ukraine, full secondary school. No, we don't offer any summer courses or preliminary courses such as colloquia to replace the Studienkolleg. In that case, you would definitely have to attend the Studienkolleg. Yeah, we don't have any offer like that. So Sergey also asks, considering Gießen's proximity to Frankfurt, are there many international students at JLU who combine their studies with part-time jobs in nearby cities? Is it realistically possible to find a flexible class schedule to make this feasible? Good question. Yes, there are many students who live nearby, who live in Frankfurt or who live in Marburg, and there are also many students who have a part-time job. Because, of course, you are allowed to work in Germany as an international student. You're allowed to work 20 hours per week, or even full-time during the semester break, so during limited times, unless you don't work more than, I believe, it's about 120 full days per year. You definitely have to juggle, yeah. So it will be harder for you to study if you work part-time and if you live far away. There are working opportunities in Gießen, definitely. For example, in retail or in gastronomy or even at the university. So I would say that not living in Gießen, working a part-time job in Frankfurt and studying full-time will be challenging, especially on bachelor's level, because at bachelor's level, there are many classes that you are obliged to attend. So you are obliged to attend seminars. There's compulsory attendance in seminars at JLU. Only lectures are free of obligation to attend, but it's still recommended to go. And it would be challenging, but it's doable, okay? But of course, the international office also offers individual counseling on the specific case if you have a job opportunity nearby or if you want to decide on where to live. Okay. Are there any preparatory or foundation courses available for international students in veterinary medicine? No, there aren't any available, no. Okay, so I would like to continue with the presentation and then at the end go back to your questions, if I may. So please reserve the questions for later and yeah, stay tuned. So I mentioned that in Gießen, we have the Center for Eastern European Studies, the GIZO. It is very well known in the research environment surrounding this topic. And the GIZO belongs to several faculties. So professors from the faculties of law, economics and business studies, as well as the cultural and social sciences and the languages and history are involved in basically shaping a network, teaching students, and holding also conferences and publications regularly. It was founded in 2006, and it focuses on regional studies, research, and teaching for Eastern Europe in the past and in the present. So some focuses are the history of Eastern Europe, Slavic studies, and Turkish studies, as well as political studies, law, and economics. And it encompasses all regions of Eastern Europe, including Turkey and the Turkish-speaking countries of the former USSR. It also fosters graduate studies in cooperation with the Graduate Center for the Study of Culture, which is one of the 4 graduate studies, graduate centers that I had previously mentioned. And what can you actually study there? So the GIZO offers the Master in Interdisciplinary Studies on Eastern Europe, which is a 2-year program in English or in German. So you can opt for the fully English version or option. You don't need to present any German skills. Depending on the languages that you speak, you can choose 1 major and 2 minors. So you choose 2 minors in Eastern European history, Slavic studies, political science, sociology, or 3 options which are available in German only. And also one of those would be your major, so you can combine them. And at the end, you finalize your studies with an interdisciplinary thesis. The start of study for this program is always in the winter semester. That's the case for most of our programs on master level. And through the QR code, you could find also more information on this program. The admission requirements for this program is that you have a bachelor's degree in a related subject or an equivalent degree. So the equivalent degree should have 20 ECTS in a major field and 10 ECTS in the minor field. So having mentioned the majors and minors that you can choose the major in Slavic studies or in Eastern European history and choose 2 minors in the one in the table. So if you, for example, studied law in Ukraine or studied political science, or you even studied maybe foreign languages, then you could present your application. You need advanced knowledge of German or English, proven through an official certificate, and you also need very good knowledge of one Slavic language, which for you being Ukrainians wouldn't be a challenge, or is an Eastern European language, which wouldn't be a challenge for you. So in this program, we have students really from many, many backgrounds. Many of them can come from Ukraine. So I encourage you to apply. You can also apply if you have studied a degree that isn't related, and you can take up the ECTS that you are lacking within the first year of study. This will be, of course, an additional workload. So you could do the 30 ECTS within the first year of study, but it's manageable. So if you say you studied something else, but you are interested in the thematic, or you are maybe politically engaged in your private life, or you have practical experience because you did an internship somewhere, that can definitely count as a qualification for admission. To give you an idea of the content of the program, I have here some selected seminar topics from different modules. So the module on Eastern Europe is, for example, on displacement and exile in Eastern Europe and the Balkans. Then there is also a module on politics and society in Belarus, Moldova, and Ukraine. There is also a module on Eastern European history, and some selected topics were memory politics and geopolitics in the digital age, especially in the case of Ukraine in the context of Central and Eastern Europe, women's spaces and life worlds in Istanbul. So if you also like to get to know other countries, you can definitely do that. Their historical, political, cultural contexts. We have a module on Slavic studies that included topics like post-colonial perspectives on Eastern Europe, rethinking Ukrainian Donbass in fiction, memoirs, and visual arts, selected properties of Slavic morphophonology. So for those of you who don't really know that, that's linguistics. That's basically the structure of the language, and language conflict in Eastern Europe. So many, many factors of society, culture, politics, law, history that play into these topics, which make it very, very intriguing and relevant. Here are some topics from political science, so about democracy promotion in Eastern Europe, also EU migration and refugee policy, security studies, international politics of energy and sustainable development, and from the sociology area, language attitudes, language and power linguistics, and contested liberalism in Europe, the cases of Poland and Germany. So I see that there is a related question in the chat that I would like to answer in advance. One second. It's kind of small. I cannot read it really well. So does the law focus on German national law only, or is there also European or international law component? Oh, it's about the law program. If you would like to study something with the European or international law component, I recommend this program. But the state examination program that is taught in German and law also covers these aspects. It includes penalty law. It also includes arbitration law. It includes economic law, basically in general, international relations, human rights, everything. So the state examination program in law covers everything, while this program here that I'm introducing, which is also available in English, is, let's say, a bit more interdisciplinary. So it includes more history, politics, political science, and culture. Okay, to give you an idea about the network that the GIZO maintains with Eastern Europe and the neighboring regions, you have maybe already seen that in these selected seminar topics. We used to have connections to many universities worldwide. The connections with St. Petersburg, Moscow, Kazan, and Minsk have been cancelled due to the military attack to Ukraine. So that was immediately cancelled by German national policy. These connections are no longer maintained. But we still continue to have very good connections with university in Turkey, also in Czech Republic, in Łódź, Poland, where I currently am, and in Kiev, of course, then in Cluj-Napoca, Zagreb, and Glasgow as well. And here you can also see some of the excursions and international study trips that are also part of this program. So these study trips can be financed, for example, through Erasmus program. So that students get a scholarship and they go on a 2-week trip, for example, to Istanbul is one example. Here you can see the students with the professor. Then they have also been to Łódź. So Łódź is also a very good city for excursions. We have a very long connection with the University of Łódź since the 70s, very esteemed partner university. And they have been to Tbilisi in Georgia. Yeah, and then here's also the study experience by Vlad, Mavili, and Sofia. They are all from Ukraine. And basically, this is the experience of Vlad. They have excursions also to European Union, governmental, intergovernmental institutions, international organizations with the professors, conferences. And this is also about Hessen. So this is a bit what Hessen looks like. This is traditional architecture. This is something that Vlad especially likes. He can use his public transport ticket to go for free and explore places nearby, such as Limburg or also Marburg. And here are some other impressions of Frankfurt or also Gießen. And this is also JLU student life. So this was, for example, the Christmas reception last year in December, where we also had delegations from Ukrainian universities visiting. So the connections with Ukraine are very strong at our university. Yeah, some more impressions of student life at JLU. We also had an exhibition on issued diplomas about the destinies of young Ukrainian students who, due to the war, unfortunately couldn't continue their studies. And that was also a very important exhibition at our university. Okay, so I think someone who came in later is asking whether we have programs in English. Yes, we have. I have showed them before. This program, Interdisciplinary Studies in Eastern Europe, is also in English. Okay, so the next part will be about application and support. And since there are some questions about our study offers, I would like to take the time again to answer these questions now. And then maybe later we can talk about the question on admission requirements, application procedure, if there are questions on what I'm going to present. Okay, so one question from one person: is the law program taught entirely in German or English? If so, what is the required German or English language level? Okay, so for the state examination program in law, you need German level. You need German advanced level. And you don't need any English skills for that program. But if you have them, you can also take classes in English. So the law program definitely includes classes in English, but they are not compulsory. You can study the whole program in German. If you require some information on which German certificates are recognized to study at JLU, I will gladly share the link with you now. So this is a list of all the German certificates that are recognized, but it always needs to be either for bachelor or for master studies, always needs to be C1, yeah, if it's a program that is taught in German. And you will also find the language requirement always on the side of the program. And if the program side is only in German, then it's also only taught in German. Okay. Are there any tuition fees or specific financial aid options for Ukrainian citizens? There are no tuition fees at JLU. To study at JLU, you only pay a semester contribution of 360 euros per semester. We don't charge tuition fees. Only in the master program Global Change, that is a joint degree with the University College at Dublin, that comes with tuition fees. But apart from that, more than 100 programs are free of tuition fees. There are currently no scholarships through the German Academic Exchange Service for Ukraine, for Ukrainian students, unfortunately. But we are currently funded, like just recently we had funding secure from the German-Ukrainian university networks. So that is something that is still being developed, and I'm probably going to be able to speak about that next year with more concreteness, yeah? Okay. Are there any entrance exams or assessments required for the economics program? Do you mean the bachelor program or the master program? So if you can, please write in the chat whether you mean the bachelor or the master program in economics, and then I can tell you more information about that. But for the bachelor program, I can already tell you that there is no admission restriction. So admission restriction in Germany means that you need to have a specific mark to enter the program. And you need to have very good grades in high school, for example. And most of our programs don't have an admission restriction. So as long as you fulfill the entrance requirement in terms of your diploma, whether it's recognized, then you can enter. And of course, the German knowledge, yeah, in your case, being international. Okay, so you mean the bachelor? Okay, I will have a look. So we have a bachelor program called Economics and Business Administration. So the intake capacity for this program is not limited internally by the university. You must have German C1. Okay, so this would be the only entrance requirement, and I can also share the link to the program in the chat in case you haven't found it yet. Okay. Okay. There's also no assessment. So you would basically only apply via UniAssist, and then UniAssist checks your documents and verifies them, and then you would be admitted. The most important thing is that you have the German knowledge. Okay. Another question. Does the law program focus on German national law? I already mentioned that. I already responded to that question. What kind of career opportunities are available to graduates of the law program? Very, very good question. Important question. So in Germany, if you study a state examination program, after finishing your studies at universities, you will have to work in a law firm or also in a public administration or at a court in Germany for a certain amount of time. In German, that's called Referendariat. And only after that, you will get your authorization to be a lawyer. Yeah. You can also do from next semester, from the winter semester, you can also do a Bachelor of Laws. That's a new offer that we're introducing because in Germany, the state examination in law is very tough. So students study several years, and if they fail the final exam, they cannot enter this profession anymore. And more universities in Germany are introducing a Bachelor of Laws, so that student after 3 years can say, the studies are very hard, I think I'm going to finish now, and I don't want to become a lawyer. I would rather work in consultancy, for example. I would like to work in a consultancy firm. So if you are a lawyer in Germany, you can become a judge if you finish the state examination. Yeah, if you finish it all, if you finish your studies with success, and you also finish your practical year and then the final exam. So you have a first state examination and a second state examination, which is you can become a judge. You can also become a lawyer in several areas, either economic law or also penalty law, everything. Or you can work in consultancy, for example. You can also work in customer rights, for example. So the job prospects for lawyers in Germany are very good. But if you want to do, for example, economic law, then I would say it's not as related to the prestige that you have as a judge or as a lawyer by state. But there's definitely a lot of opportunities. Yeah, you can also go into international relations, for example, or work in diplomacy as well. But for diplomacy, a bachelor would not be enough. Okay, good. The programs in English, I would go back to that slide so you can see our programs in English, and you can also scan the QR code. Then you will get to the page that has all of our programs that are in English. And they are only a master level. Yeah, bachelor we don't have in English. Okay, I will give you a minute to scan the QR code. Or I can also maybe put the same link into the chat if that's easier for you. Okay, here you can see our programs in English. We also have one in Spanish, but I don't think you know Spanish, or maybe. But yeah, we have 14 master programs in English. All right. So, do you have any programs in English? Bachelor. Yeah, we don't have bachelor in English, unfortunately. Okay. So, for application and support, I already mentioned that Ukrainian or international applicants in general have to apply via UniAssist. The requirements are finished previous studies in Ukraine on bachelor level, or also high school diploma, and having done the Studienkolleg in case your high school diploma does not give you immediate access to our university. You can check that via the ANABIN database. Yeah, if you Google that, it will show. And you need the necessary language skills. Please always observe the application deadlines. You can currently apply to start your studies this year in October. So if you would like to study an international master program, you can apply until June 15th. And if you would like to study a German program, either master or bachelor, you can apply until August. Yeah. So the application phase is currently open, and you can find always the application deadline on the page of the respective program as well. So the application via UniAssist is very easy. You just create an account and you fill in the application form for Justus Liebig University Gießen. You upload all the necessary documents, translated either into English or into German if they are in Ukrainian. Yeah, and you transfer a one-time processing fee of 75 euros. And this allows you for a first application. If you would also like to apply to other universities that use UniAssist, then you just have to pay a smaller additional fee. I think it's 35 or 40 euros. Yeah. Okay. So support services for international students. Short recap. So we offer study counseling virtual or in person. You can also request a virtual counseling session on the choice of your study subject and your study plans. We also offer a orientation week for international students with orientation sessions on how to move on campus, where is everything, How do I use the electronic system? How do I register in the town hall, for example? Yeah. And also social events, of course. There's a guided city tour. There's also a welcome reception for international students with a little celebration and a greeting by the president. The German language courses at JLU are free of charge, and I'm speaking about the German language courses that are for students who are already enrolled. So if you study a program that is in English and you would also like to learn German, which makes sense because, of course, you want to be able to communicate in Germany. Not everyone speaks English here. Most young people do, but older people sometimes don't. You can also go to German language courses in the evening, and those are free of charge for our students. Yeah. The German intensive courses for the preparation of studies are not free of charge. They are a different offer, okay? We also have workshops for study success and career preparation. So things like CV check, training for an interview, how to write a job application in Germany. We also offer that, and it's free of charge. We also give practical guidance on how to find accommodation in our halls of residence. We have 11 halls of residence through the Students' Union, Studierendenwerk in German, but the places are limited, yeah. We have also private rentals. We have private rentals in Germany and shared flats. And it is recommended that you start searching for accommodation at least 4 months in advance. Yeah. You can also apply for the house of residence if you have not received your admission yet. That is also possible. We also give advice on the health insurance in Germany. We also counsel on social and individual issues, and also study skill and psychological counseling. There is also a psychologist at our university. Yeah. Also legal and financial counseling on visa and residence permit, and financial issues such as working in Germany. Yeah. There is a question. I saw that JLU offers a wide range of sports initiatives. Is there a separate fee for participation? And does this apply for all activities, for example, gym, access, yoga, football? Can international students take part in university competitions as well? Thank you for the question, Vlad. The sports initiatives are not free of charge, but they come with a small registration fee. So a small course fee, I think it's between 20 to 30 euros per semester. You can check at the page of the Academic Sports Service. I will copy the link, information in English, on the Academic Sports Service. Okay, there was a question prior to Vlad's. 1 second, I didn't oversee it. We have noticed that Gießen is not a very large city. That's true. Which neighborhoods do students usually choose for housing if they are not allocated in a spot in a dormitory? Are there any particular aspects of the housing market international students should be aware of? For example, deposit policies, utilities, and required documentation. That is also a very good question. Thank you very much for the question. So the neighborhoods that students choose, if they can choose, they like to live close to the city center and close to the university. So I would recommend Gießen Nord, Wieseck is quite recommendable, or also close to Licherstraße or to Grünberger Straße. That is where a lot of shared flats are located. And it is definitely the case that students need to be aware of a few habits and aspects on the housing market in Germany in general. So how do you write, for example, an introduction to a landlord? How do you speak to a landlord? Or how do you participate in a so-called WG casting? So in Germany, if you want to live in a shared flat, there are already your potential housemates who are students, and they invite the applicants, and they tell them to say something about themselves. What do you like? What are you like? Are you an introvert or are you extrovert? Do you do any sports? Are you very tidy? Do you know how to clean? Would you like to spend time with your flatmates, or are you rather a person who likes to spend time on their own? And for that, we have also prepared a housing guide that I can also share with you. That is very, very comprehensive. And we also have we also have a page on where to live in Gießen. I will share that with you. So if you go to that page, you can find information on the average cost of living. A room costs on average 400 euros, while the general cost of living as a student is about 900 to 1,000 euros per month. And on that page, on the end of the page, you can also find the student guide, Finding Accommodation. It's a PDF, but just in case you don't find it or you may be lazy, I will also link it in the chat. Yeah, and this is basically your little guide for really introducing yourself to a landlord or going to introduction for a shared flat. Okay. Okay. Someone is typing. I don't know whether it's on that question. I will wait, and then I will answer the question on medicine and veterinary medicine and human movement analytics. I was now able to enlarge the chat. Now I can see your questions a bit better. Very good. Now I see it much better now. Okay, so the question on accommodation seems to be answered. I hope this helps. Andre is asking, I read that the medicine and veterinary medicine programs at JLU are highly prestigious. If a student has obtained a previous degree abroad, what is the procedure for recognition of that diploma to continue studies in the medical field? That is very specific. I have to admit that I haven't received this question before. I will see whether I can find information on that on the website. Yeah, there's a no, it's not the page. Since this is a very specific question, I think it would be best, Andre, if you directed that question to my colleagues from the team for counseling and support of international students and ask them. They definitely know about this, yeah? So they can give you proper advice on that. Okay, Saveli, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, is interested in the Master in Human Movement Analytics. It seems to be interdisciplinary, covering biomechanics, motor function, and cognitive science. If a student holds a bachelor's degree in psychology but lacks a medical background, is admission still possible? Which prior competencies are considered essential, or are they not critical? Thank you very much for that question. If you are interested in this program, you could have a look at the website, and we can have a look together at the admission criteria. It is definitely targeted also at students who have previously studied psychology. So you definitely would be a candidate who would be suitable. I think that the admission committee from the faculty would probably look at the modules that you took. And you should at least have a motivation, yeah? So there will be a check of the formal requirements, which will first be the language requirements. So you need English requirements, English skills, and also the average grade in your bachelor program, yeah? So this program has an admission restriction. And then after that, there will be an online interview for that program. It's the only program or one of the few programs with an interview. Your personal motivation, your experience and knowledge of the fields of human movement, and the presentation of your bachelor's thesis. So if you didn't study anything medicine related, that's not a problem. You should only show that you are interested in the topic and that you have maybe read about what is in the program or what you would like to specialize in. So if you go on this page, yeah, and you click on application, you will find the description of the whole process. If you have any doubts about it, I will also recommend you to contact Professor Müller. Yeah, he's very nice. I know him as well, and you can ask him. You can also say, I met Ann-Kathrin Lauer at this student recruitment fair, and she introduced this program, but I'm not sure whether this is the right program for me. And tell him what you did previously, that you studied psychology, and that you're genuinely interested in the topic. And then he will be able to assess you from an academic perspective. Okay? I hope this answers your question. Of course, I cannot give you any binding information on whether you will be admitted, because I would need to review your documents. Okay? Okay. All right. So the next question. If I don't know German, can I apply to university after the 11th grade of Ukrainian school? Do you give a referral to preparatory school? Unfortunately, you cannot apply to Justus Liebig University if you haven't finished high school. Yeah, but you can check in the Anabin database. You would probably have to attend the Studienkolleg. Okay, we don't have any preparatory or bridging programs like Studienbrücke or anything. We don't offer that. Like a study bridge. Vlad asks, is it true that the student ID card in Gießen covers not only public transport, but also access to facilities such as swimming pools and theaters? And are all these benefits automatically activated with the campus card, or is a separate registration required? Thank you for that question and for pointing that out. It is true. So when you have the student ID card in Gießen, you can attend for free the swimming pool in Gießen in summer. For that, you only need to show your student ID in case of the swimming pool. And for the theater, you will have to buy the tickets on the website of the theater. And as a payment method, you then select JLU student ID card. And this applies to most of the performances. So this includes theater plays, it includes ballet, it includes opera, it includes symphonic orchestra concerts. And something is also new. Since April, so just since this semester, students can also go to the cinema once per month for free. Yeah, it's a cinema flat rate, and it's organized by the AStA. So you can also look into that. So you have a lot of advantages with your student ID in Gießen. Yeah. Valentina asked, does this university not offer preparatory courses? I would like to improve my German. I have B2 now. I have almost B2. And English, so that I can study social sciences at the university. I'm interested in history and culture. No, we don't have our own Studienkolleg, but we have the Studienkolleg Mittelhessen nearby. It's by the University of Marburg. If you like, I can share the link in the chat. So I think you will have to attend the Studienkolleg in Marburg, and then you can apply for studies at JLU. And of course, at the Studienkolleg, you will automatically receive your C1 certificate, of course. So here is the page. So yeah, we work together with Studienkolleg Mittelhessen because Gießen is in Mittelhessen. Yeah, it's the region. And Marburg is also in Mittelhessen. So this is the Studienkolleg for the whole geographical area. And it's not far away. And some courses are also in Gießen. Yeah. Okay. Does it make a difference which Studienkolleg you attend for training and further education? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. If you attend the Studienkolleg Mittelhessen, you can also apply to university outside of the federal state of Hesse later. You are free of choice. But if you already attend the Studienkolleg in Marburg, of course, Gießen is not that far away, and you can also go to Gießen from time to time and see how the city is and whether you like it. And it's actually the perfect way to get to know Gießen. But you can attend any Studienkolleg in Germany. but some of them are private, and I definitely recommend you to attend the public one because they are very, very high in quality. This is the official page of all the Studienkolleg options in Germany. Okay, Nikita has a question. I have finished the 11th degree of a German high school and a college in Ukraine. I'm interested in Lehramt. Do I have a chance? Is it possible to apply to this uni after Fachabi? Do you have any restrictions about my marks? Well, depends on which type of school education you would like to choose. So if you would like to study primary education to become a primary school teacher, there is an admission restriction. It really depends on the combination of subjects also. I recommend you to maybe talk to the Central Student Advisory Service because they have a focus on school, on teacher training. Yeah? So ZSB Uni Gießen and also studium-international@uni-gießen.de because they will be able to counsel you individually on your case. Okay. Gymnasiallehramt. Okay, thank you very much. So I will have a look. I think there is no admission restriction at JLU. So at JLU, we call Gymnasiallehramt L3, L3. And give me a second. Yeah, it is not restricted. So the admission is not restricted, but you will definitely have to check your entrance certificate. So if you have only finished 11th grade in Ukraine, then you will have to check through the ANABIN database whether you can already enter university. And of course, you would need the German certificate. You would need an official certificate. Okay. Good. Nikita is asking, can I choose the subjects freely? It depends on the combination. 1 second. So I know that in some education systems, you always have to choose subjects that are related. For example, you cannot choose French and maths because people say it's not related. But on this page, you can find the combinations that are possible. And as far as I know, there are no combinations that wouldn't be allowed. I don't know what it's like in Bavaria, but these are the ones that you can choose. Yeah. One second. I will make sure to having sent the correct link. Yeah, so the link I sent is for Realschule. But I think for Gymnasiallehramt, it shouldn't be drastically different. You can also have a look at the PDF flyer on that webpage. I'm just downloading it now. Or as I said, oh yeah, the PDF flyer actually includes the combination. Yeah, so you have to choose a academic subject and then a didactic subject. Yeah, and you can choose 2 from the following options. So it doesn't matter. So you can, for example, you can combine biology and music, or you can also combine geography and physics, or you can also do foreign languages and natural science. It doesn't matter. Yeah. So the second link I sent is about secondary grammar schools, and the other ones are about Realschule. Yeah. So to do vocational aid, and finishing A-levels, Abitur in German. Nikita asks, do you always need a full school education to apply? I would recommend you to ask this to the team for advisory and counseling of international students. So I think this would also lead me to the contact slide that I haven't shown before. So further information you can receive on our website. So either unigießen.de/study or uni-gießen.de international pages, which is about international students. So things like health insurance, accommodation, financing your studies, visa. And then there are also the internet addresses of the master program I addressed in particular. And you can contact us via studium-international@uni-gießen.de. So studium-international@uni-gießen.de. We are also on Instagram if you would like to gain some insights into international student life, our campus. Please feel free to follow us on Instagram. And yeah, that would be the end of my presentation, but I can, of course, still gladly stay to answer remaining questions. Okay, someone's typing. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much. It was good to speak to you, to get to know your presentations. Yeah, I will still stay, Nikita, don't worry. One moment, please. If you have more questions, feel free.
One moment, please. One moment, please. All right. So thank you for the presentation. And also, I have a few questions from the people from previous presentation. They sent us these questions to answer. Some of them you already answered. And I will just put them into the chat, and I think we can quickly answer them. One of them is about the regular schedule of the university. So let me post it on the screen. Right. So about how intense academic year at JLU, how long does one semester last, and how much time is allocated to breaks or holidays? And the last part about the opportunity to use this free time for internships, trips, participation in summer schools, and so on.
Yeah, thank you for that question. So I would say the academic year at JLU is intensive because you get to do a lot. It's not just being in class all the time. Many initiatives are taking place on campus. There are festivals, and there are, of course, also semester breaks. So speaking about the semester time, we have 2 semesters per year. Yeah, so one semester is more or less half a year. And one semester consists of a lecture period and a lecture-free period. And the lecture periods usually consist of about 12 weeks. So the winter semester starts in September, but classes start only mid-October, yeah? And they last until the end of February, or let's say mid-February. And then in February, classes end and you have exam phase, yeah? So in Germany, at JLU at least, you have one big exam or even a module paper at the end of the semester. It's not like you have a little exams in between or exam before Christmas that usually doesn't exist. So in February, you have exam phase. Sometimes it already starts in January. So sometimes you have exams while classes still are going on. And then the semester break is in March. And usually in March, that's when the students are always relaxed because they have finished their exams and then they can use the time for trips home or for internships or to participate, for example, in extracurricular activities. I have to say that at partner universities, winter schools often take place in January. If you can combine it with your schedule, it's always individual, yeah. And of course, if you get ECTS for the summer school, it also makes sense. Then the summer semester starts in April, and classes also start pretty quickly in April. Yeah, mid-April the classes start, and they last until July, until mid-July. And then in July again, you have exam phase, or you hand in your module paper. And then the summer is a pretty long break. Yeah, so from July until September, because I said in September winter semester starts, but classes only start in October, then you have a pretty long break. And that's actually the perfect time for a summer internship or also for a trip home. Yeah, and of course summer schools, because the summer schools actually take place in summer, mostly in August or also in September. So it really allows you to do other things apart from sitting in class and studying. Okay, hope this answers the question. There's another question by Nikita in the chat now. Could it help if I'll send my language diplomas? I've got C1 in German, B2 in English, and also educated in Russian and in Spanish. And another one, do you have only one semester begin per year? I mean, maybe you have possibilities to apply for the semester. Yeah, you can send your language diplomas for assessment. I would definitely do that, but it's also important that you send the last high school certificate that you had to assess that properly. And the majority of our programs start in the winter semester. Some of them are also possible to start in the summer semester, but the majority starts in the winter semester. And you will find the information on the specific program on the web page of that program. And I think I still have the one for teaching for grammar schools open. So 1 second. Yeah, so you can only start the degree in teaching for grammar schools for the winter semester. But you can currently apply. Application phase is currently open. International applicants can apply until mid-August. Yeah. Okay. Good. Any other questions?
So I have two more. Maybe somebody will type down during answers. All right. So before I pose this question, you doesn't mention it. Do the university have a PhD level or not?
Yes, we have a PhD level. We have 3 structured PhD programs. Oh, okay. So it's about a PhD in cognitive science specifically?
Yeah, and about the whole PhD PhD entrance, I think, program process.
So we have, I think, 3 structured PhD programs. One is in lung research, so lung medicine. One is in agricultural economics. And there is also one in cultural studies. Those are 3. And we have also 4 graduate centers. But the graduate centers, they only have, let's say, an accompanying program for competence development of PhD students. Apart from that, in cognitive science, we don't have a structured program, but we have open PhD positions. So you have to secure a position as a scientific assistant, as an academic assistant at a chair of a professor. And this will allow you to work part-time as a research assistant and do your PhD project with that very same supervisor who will also be a boss. Yeah, and we have from time to time international PhD positions, and I will share the link on these positions, but they don't come with a specific application phase. They are published from time to time, and you can always observe this. I think my internet just paused. Yeah, give me a second.
It's
Can
all
you
right
still hear me?
on my side.
Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, it might be that I'm losing internet connection. Just for you to know. Okay, I've regained it. Okay.
So, but from my side, everything's fine.
Yeah, it's come back now, but I had difficulties to access the page.
All right. So, and while we're waiting for this page to upload, the last question, it's a bit small, but I think it's pretty good to know answer on it. It's about can students attend other departments and lectures away from the main program or not?
Give me 1 second. I cannot load the page, unfortunately. So I'm going to put the answer in the chat as best as I can, and then I'm going to answer the next question.
All right. Поки очікуємо, якщо в когось є питання,
Hello?
можете писати. Yeah, I can hear you.
I've lost connection. I'm really sorry. My connection is unreliable.
All right. Right. So in this station, I think you answered actually a lot of questions. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Always thank you everyone who joined us today. And we will share this record with all the people from previous registration and this meeting too. All right. So, all right.
I was able to share the link now. And the last question, if a
Yeah.
student wishes to attend lectures from other departments out of interest, yeah, you can also attend other lectures. Yeah, definitely. You are free to do so. Okay.
All right. All right. So thank you very much. And do you have any entrance exam? One more question from Nikita, I see here.
For PhD or for teacher training? No, for teacher training, we don't have an entrance exam. No. No entrance exam for teacher training degrees. Okay. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
All right. So thank you too. Wish you good luck. Always, it's nice to meet you at our meetings, and of course, we always like to see you on our fairs. Right. So our presenter is gone for now, and goodbye. Goodbye, and wish you all the best. Good luck, good day, and safe sky out above our heads. All right, so goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.